Hi, my name is Paul Gonzalez. I'm the director and writer and editor of Scum. That was 14 years ago. What followed for the next 2.5 years was new and old friends coming together to make this little movie called Scum. We all essentially took over the small town of Beeville, Texas. We were allowed to close down 2 city blocks, and we had hundreds of extras show up for one of the biggest scenes in the movie. It was fun, it was daunting, and of course, things did get rough. But we got it done. And hey, we even won a few awards. Now, we would like to invite all of you to our 11-year reunion.
First off, I just want to welcome whoever's watching, to the 11-year, correct, Paul? Reunion of this fun little independent film that was made down here in Texas, Scum. And of course, I'm the host, Mr. Poe, Aaron Poe, from a podcast from Beneath, and also B Movie TV. So I'd like to welcome everybody. It's awesome that everybody was able to join us. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question and let it go from there. The first question I had was what drew you to this little neat film? And it's open to anybody. So
I feel like Paul should start since it was his film.
Okay, what drew Paul to make the
Yeah, that works better.
Yeah. All right, sorry.
Well, no, I guess I just moved back from San Antonio, and you started to notice that, like, you're walking around Beeville, and there's all these cool locations, there's all this cool stuff, and there wasn't going to be anybody that was going to tell us that we couldn't film a movie here. Like, we didn't have to get film permits, we didn't have to get anything.
And I will say, living in Los Angeles, that is super rare. It is hard to shoot where people are welcoming and want you around. Usually they're trying to just burn your set to the ground. So
wow.
Yeah. And it's like, whenever I was living in San Antonio, I had some film buddies up there, and like I would help them shoot stuff. So it's like we would go downtown San Antonio, and then we'd set up real quick, shoot stuff, and then we'd always have somebody looking out for the cops, and then as soon as there was any sort of issues, then we would pack up and run. So it's like I knew that filming in Beeville, we weren't going to have those sort of issues or anything. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I am Paul Gonzalez, the writer, director, and editor of the movie. I guess we should introduce ourselves. But yeah, and so like that's kind of what happened. I just wrote the movie, and then I got with Brandon, and I'm drawing a blank about what happened after that. You got anything, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank too. I don't remember. I all I remember is man.
I know what you're gonna say. Okay. So we started filming the movie with a different actor. We had cast a buddy of ours as John Dog Smith, and then we had cast somebody else as Charles Sharp, and
I remember.
Yeah. I was trying to get Brandon, but Brandon was still living in San Antonio at the time whenever I was living in Beeville. So the story that he told me that I forgot was that whenever I called him after that first day of shooting, knowing that everything was going to hell.
I talked you off the ledge.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah, because I was kind of ready to pull the plug after that first day. It went so awful. BJ was there. BJ has been there since the beginning. BJ, introduce yourself and tell me some stories.
My name is BJ Styles, and I play Hector. And I remember seeing an ad in the paper that said open casting call.
I forgot about that.
Independent horror film. So I was like, oh, what the hell? I'll go check it out. So I go to this apartment complex where they're holding these auditions, And I'm like, well, what kind of auditions is this? So I go inside and there's like 3 other guys in there. And I'm like, oh, well, these guys are really good looking. There ain't no way in hell I'm gonna get this shit. So then I get called to the back and Paul introduced himself and he gives me this paper and he said, I want you to read for this person, Sharp. And I was like, okay. So we kind of read back and forth and he said, hold on, I want you to read for this person. And I can't remember who that one was. And so we read. He said, hold on, one more. I want you to read for this person. And it was Hector's part. So I read and he was like, okay, cool, thanks. We'll be in touch. I was like, all right. So I left, not thinking anything about it. I was like, oh yeah, there ain't no way in hell I got this. He's probably just thinking, oh, this guy's a fool. Let me make him a fool 3 times. So I get a call about a week later and he's like, hey, this is Paul. Do you remember me from the movie? I was like, yeah. He said, well, I was just wondering if you would still be interested in filming with us. And I was like, hell yeah. So I asked him, what made you decide that to choose me? He said, because you knew how to read. I was like, okay, that works.
Yeah, because like the audition process, I learned how to make movies from listening to directors' commentary and watching behind the scenes making of stuff. So I knew how they cast movies. So I kind of did that, but I set it up in my apartment, which I didn't think people would think was creepy until
like a typical dude.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. We have look, we have some special guests here.
Right.
A lot of things have happened over the 11 years since I've been here.
Don't do that. I can lock my kid next door, man.
So we have a whole Scum family here.
Awesome.
Oh, they don't
Oh
get the
my
shirts.
Oh man, the little babies.
Yeah.
Go, look.
Say hi, guys.
Hi.
All right.
Have they all seen the movie?
No, none of them have except for my wife.
Y'all need to sit down and watch the movie.
Hey, now that it's going to be on YouTube, maybe we will.
Yeah, family movie night.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you.
I don't want to leave.
Now they're wrecking the set. Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay.
No,
Yes, go. Okay.
Bye.
Y'all
All
have
right.
fun.
I did have a question for our 2 leads, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it. It's Kylie, correct?
Kelly.
Kelly, and Brandon. With your all's characters, I mean, how much of that is, how much of your character is you that you brought into it?
Talk about how you got cast also.
Yeah.
I guess I could go first. I was in high school and you came to speak to our, I think we had like a video squad.
Yeah.
And you came and you were talking about it. And me and my sister were like, wouldn't it be fun? Like you said you needed extras. So we were like, we'll just show up and this will be fun. But when we got there, once again, you live in an apartment complex as a house. And then you're like, could you read this? Could you take 5 minutes, look it over and come back? And then I started coming home. My mom was like, how'd it go? And I was like, well, I don't know. I got cast as the lead. And she was like, what? And then she was immediately skeptical of it.
Yeah.
But I will say, as far as where the character comes from, I will never forget the first day, I think on set. I think it was our first day of shooting. And you started rolling the cameras, and we started off with a fight scene between the couple, and I just rattled off my lines at Brandon, and he kind of stopped. He's like, he's sorry, that was just I think he was taken back by the performance. I'm gonna go with that. Yeah. But afterwards, I think you said something to my mom about it of oh, that was really good acting. My mom goes, acting? Are you kidding me? That's just her bitching out her boyfriend. And I was like,
That's right. Yeah.
thanks,
Yeah.
Mom.
That was like crazy because our first day was that at one of those big houses? Was
Yeah,
that
it was
what
one of those huge, like, it definitely was like a mansion. There was like a front porch on it, and
It had the
I
big
mean,
pillars.
I don't even know whose house it was.
I don't even know either, because in the movie your house is actually made up of 3 different locations.
Yeah,
Because like I think the first night we didn't even have a house to film at. So like I was running around Beeville knocking on people's doors trying to find a really cool house to film. So then like these people, they didn't know who I was, but I had been in the newspaper. So then I was just like, hey, I'm the guy making that movie. Do you mind if we come back tonight and film? And eventually we had a few people that said yes. So like your house in the movie is made up from 3 different locations, you know? Because it's
yeah.
like we went to that one house that was pretty crazy that you had to go inside and go up to the ledge. And then I remember like whenever you came out, you were like, I forgot what you said, something about like how creepy it was in there.
Oh yeah, there was a ton of creepy locations involved. I mean, I think the one that we were in the attic in the crawl space when zombies had to like chase after me, and it's like, you know, everyone's just like sweating profusely, and like you're literally just being like holding, and you're like the whole time you're like, I hope there's not like a bug on me or something. But it helped for the performance, I will say that. So you know, and it's good training. That's, I mean, essentially that's what movies are. So
Yeah, and it's like whenever we say sets and stuff, those are actual locations, and a lot of the times we didn't have time to clean them up or anything. We might have turned around the boards that had nails on them, but pretty much we would just roll in and start shooting, and it was pretty gross at times, you know.
Yep, we didn't clean up before or after. So sorry, Drew.
it added to the production value.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was going
Yeah.
for. So Brandon, so we had the disastrous first day. Didn't you come down that next weekend so that we could check out the footage and kind of see what was going on?
I don't think I ever saw the original footage.
Oh, okay.
I really don't think so. I don't remember. I just remember talking to you, and I said, well, what are you going to do? And I believe it was because the other actor was, I don't want to say complaining, making an issue of having to drive back and forth because he had also moved away, I believe.
Yeah.
Wait, was it me? I lived in Austin.
We'll get to you in a little bit. But it's like what I remember is going back to go film the exact same stuff that we had filmed the first time with the other actor, and then everything was working this time with you in it. And then like after that first day, I was like, oh man, this actually might work. We might actually be able to make a movie. And then cut to 2.5 years later, whenever we're finally done filming and stuff, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna put the video up of the first day that we shot. I found it actually on one of my hard drives, you know, like because like whenever we were filming on the Scum the movie website, I was always posting videos. So, but the website went down and all the videos got lost. But I did find that one. And like even whenever we started filming, we didn't have the entire cast because we started filming without Kelly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yes.
we had
You had a few people, I think, in mind for the role, and they got the role, and then you saw them the next day, and you're like, oh, she's not for the role. You just completely changed your mind on them. I remember one specific person in mind, but I don't know their names. I just know that you said I found our lead actress, and yeah.
It's funny because I did cast a 16-year-old of all people, you know, of all age, you know, but it's like she looked mature enough to where I was like, oh, she could pull off, you know, being like 18, 19, whatever, you know, and but it took so long, the pre-production took so long that eventually she had to go off to college. So her parents, because I think she was going to graduate when she was 17, and then kind of like go off to college already. So her parents called me up one day and were like, "Hey, I don't think she's going to be able to do it." I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And then, but hey, to me, it all worked out because we ended up getting Kelly.
A Beeville superstar.
Hey, man, I was randomly bartending like a couple years ago, and this dude rolled in, and I was generally, people ask me, "Oh, where are you from?" I just say Corpus, because it turns into a very long conversation of like, "Well, where's Beeville? What's it known for?"
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's a comma on a map. You're never gonna know it. But I was like, it's Corpus Christi, and this guy down the bar goes, "Hey, Corpus Christi," and I go, "Oh, I'm not actually from there. Like, I just say that because it's easy." He goes, "Yeah, I say the same thing." And I go, "Well, where are you from?" And he was like, "Skidmore." And I was like, "A skid rat in Los Angeles? How did you like make it out here?" And anyway, we're just talking back and forth, and he kept asking me, he was like, "I think I know you from somewhere." And I was like, "Well, you know, you probably had my brothers in football." And we're going through all of it. And he's like, "No, no." And he was like, "Were you in this movie called Scum?" And I was like, called my parents. I was like, "I'm famous. You heard it here first." Like,
So he recognized you from Scum and not Miss Western Week.
I know.
please, I buried that in my past. Buried that.
I remember like that was like one of the things that I
Selling
wanted
point.
in like the marketing is we had the Miss
Oh my
Western
God.
Week, you know, in the movie. But
If only we had released it 2008, 2007, and not 2010.
Some people would have known me. I'm just kidding. Like, nobody was more shocked than I was that I won that. I was like, "Wait, what?"
yeah, but so let's get to Andrew. So how did you kind of get roped into all this besides just being my friend?
Well, probably because I was your friend that knew anything about music. Hey, for the movie, you want to do the music for it?
I played in his band, but he's the only one that knows something about music.
Yeah, Andrew.
Wait, Paul was in a band?
Well, I was, and Brandon was, and Drew was, but I think Drew had all the talent. I think we just.
Can I tell one story before?
I went to school for it.
There you go.
I had a little bit of kind of, music theory and composition experience.
Yeah, you were the better musician.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Hey, can I tell one story real quick that involves the two of you?
Sure.
Do y'all remember when we went to that Green Day concert
Mhm.
and he asked for somebody to go on stage?
Yeah.
And like, I'm jumping up and down and I get his attention. And I got Paul to the left of me and Drew to the right of me. And I know Paul's thinking, "Oh, he's going to get me on stage. This is my favorite band at the time, and my favorite band." And like, I'm like, "Oh, this guy, and point to Drew." And so Drew gets up on stage, with Paul's favorite band, jams out and, does the stage dive. And then a few years later, he was like, "Yeah, I remember it. I thought you were telling him that to get me on stage."
Well, it's like, okay, like the way that I remember that is I was the only one with blonde hair at the time, right? I think so. I think I was the only one that had blonde hair. So like I remember Billy Joe, the singer to Green Day, he's looking at us, and then like he kind of looks at me, and then I got scared because I knew how to play guitar, but not as good as Drew did. So like I think I was doing the same thing you were doing. I was like, him, not
You
me.
just wanted to guilt me years later.
I mean, yeah. Well, it would have been cool. It would not have been cool to eat shit in front of those thousands of people.
Is that what happened?
No. Andrew actually got to go up on stage and he played a song with Green Day, and then the singer Billy Joe kissed him on the mouth and told him to stage dive. So he went and stage
against the
dove
venue's
off there.
rule.
Yeah.
Well, when you're called up on stage, obviously.
Yeah.
That's an epic story.
And then people wanted to fight Drew afterwards as we're walking back to the turd.
What?
A turd is what we called his a brown van, by the way.
We never heard in the movie.
I think the van was broke down already, wasn't it?
Ah, that sucks. That would have been good.
But then like they contacted you, right? The city contacted you saying that they were thinking about suing a Green Day for letting you stage dive because it was not allowed or
Yeah,
whatever.
right after that happened, they started all the controversy about their stage diving and mosh pits, and like all of that started right after that.
Yeah. See,
Well,
Kelly, you're learning all about my famous friends.
I know. Well, and the 90s as well.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
that around the time when y'all had that infamous photo when y'all were in the band and y'all were wearing the socks?
No, that was my band, and we were called Los Calzoncillos, and we would play in our underwear. Yeah. If I have
Hey,
that,
don't forget about Kid
I'm
Carl.
so sad that I missed out on this guy. If I'd only known.
if I can find that photo, I'll put it up on the video whenever the video comes out. I'll put it up like right here. Boop.
A podcast or a video chat about Scum, and we're just having a high school reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to
You guys
the music,
look terrible, by the way. Y'all need to take care of yourself.
Great.
going back to the music. I know the sound that like I wanted for the movie, and like I remember staying up late one night trying to create a score, like a John Carpenter score or something from like the 80s, and it was awful. So so then I decided to call up Drew and be like, hey man, can you help me out with this music? And then I just let him do all of it.
Can you help me out? Here it is.
Yeah,
Take it all.
I did the technical stuff. He was the voice in my ear.
It was fun. We talked about this yesterday about like the way that we scored the movie. I could only edit in sections. So like each scene is its own section. Then I had to take that out and I had to export that section. So like if you see the movie in files, it's all separate sections because I was on a really, really small computer that nobody has
I don't
ever
know how you
edited
did
a
it,
movie
man.
on. Yeah, it was crazy. So like every time I would edit a section, I would go to his place and we'd sit there, drink beer, and then he would sit down with the keyboard, and then I'm like, hey man, let's make this a little more sad. Let's make this a little scary. Let's do this and that. And then he would just kind of do it. And they're like, okay, well, let's do that, but let's try this and do that. And yeah, and like that's how the score was made, you know? It's funny because like he's such a good musician that like I would just tell him these things like, hey, we need it to be funny. And he's like, okay. Just sit there and play it, you know? So yeah. The one of the I watched the beginning of Scum earlier today, and that's one of the strangest openings, isn't it?
I loved it. That's one of the awesome things about it. Like when it opens up, and then I guess who's being drug out into the darkness like before the title shows up.
Oh, well,
That was cool. I mean, how that whole scene was set up, to me, I thought it was very cool to watch that.
Well, I was the person in the shadow doing the dragging.
that's right. You were.
Being
I forgot about
dead,
that.
always.
About doing this is we all became more than just what we were. Like I was also the person that would hold the boomstick for Paul at times, or paint the kitchen for the kitchen.
That's right, dude.
I forgot.
Free labor, man. Free labor.
Set designer, check. Mic technician, check. Extra, check. We did it all.
I think the only ones that we didn't ask to do double duty might have been Kelly and Rebecca. I think, because we're real gentlemen. So
I know
like,
you guys are. I'm still half Mexican. I feel like I've been working my whole life. Like I got out easy here.
but yeah, because I think BJ has probably been on the set. He was probably on the set the most out of anybody, even me, because that one time whenever you showed up and Brandon showed up to the house, but I was in jail.
Oh yeah.
Literally locked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, we
We're scouting an area to shoot.
Marcus was there too, right? That's right.
we
No,
went
I wasn't there.
I went inside. I went inside the old movie theater, just to kind of check it out, and then whenever we came out, there's a gun shop that's right next door. So the owner of the gun shop had like a giant gun pointed at me, and I was like, "Oh, I guess I should listen to what he tells me." And then we spent the weekend in jail. It was me, Marcus, and my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah,
wow.
that sucked.
Oh my God.
You
That's
do,
the
but
worst when you get arrested on a Friday.
yeah. And then like it sucks too because Brandon was coming down that weekend to shoot, and then like I'm sure that he was all pissed off. Like, where the hell is he at? He's not here. I came all the way down from San Antonio, and he's not even going to be here.
Oh my gosh.
That would have been one of the many times I was probably ticked off, but
I feel like you now have to make a documentary of what it like reenacting what it was to make it. Because I mean,
we should have all that footage. That was the plan.
You know what? There is 2 shoe boxes full of Scum. Like we have there's
Don't
like
need
there's like
it.
there's tons of outtakes. There's tons of everything, but we
wow.
shot on tape, so it's like I don't even know how to get that footage off of those tapes anymore. Like I'm gonna have to go to eBay and go find some old equipment or something. But yeah, there's thousands and thousands of hours. We shot the movie over 2.5 years.
Yeah,
So,
Dairy Mart became Burger Depot. I'm watching the movie right now, and Dairy Mart's on the screen.
And after our talk last night about God dang, what was his name?
Josh.
With his tattoo. I never noticed it. She mentioned it last night. I watched the movie last night, and I saw the fucking tattoo appear and disappear. Laughing. I was like,
The only since Rebecca said she's going to join us in a little bit, the only person that we couldn't get a hold of was Josh, who plays Brandon, aka Charles Sharp. He plays your long lost friend, and we don't know what happened to him. Like in real life.
What happened to him?
Huh?
Like literally, what happened to him?
Yeah. He's gone. We don't know. He's not on any social media platform. He's not.
I'm trying to think. I ran into him a few years ago randomly. My parents still lived in Beeville. It was he was working at the prison at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Maybe
don't
he's
know.
a prisoner
I
now.
think he joined the CIA or something
You
like
should
that.
have told me. I would have tried to track him down. Josh and I were in the same grade, so we definitely.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know. My mom still calls me like, "Do you know so and so did whatever?" And I'm like, "Wait, who was that?" It feels so long ago.
Yeah. So yeah. There's tons of footage out there. I mean, it's it could be interesting to actually go through it all, but as you saw, I have 3 children now, so time isn't really something I have very much of.
Bless you, parents. 3 of my nieces and nephews, and I was like, done.
Yeah. See you
This
later.
is like a lot to take on.
How old, Kelly? How old were you whenever you were filming? You were 18?
17.
17.
17.
Brandon remembers.
Yes, I do, because it was nerve-wracking. Nerve-wracking.
You what?
It was nerve-wracking. Your mom was there, and we had to be gentlemen. And I'm supposed to be like, oh, this is my girlfriend who's 10 years younger than me.
That was, like whenever y'all met the day we shot, right?
I thought she came in one time
Did
to
we
your
get her
house
to a table read?
before. No, I never did a table read.
I don't know. God, this keeps sounding creepier and creepier. But I remember you coming over. you are coming over to my house, to do a costume fitting, and it's like, like I had gotten.
That's what I think was the first time I met her.
Oh. So we invited a 17-year-old girl to come into the house to come try on costumes while me and you were there all alone.
You invited a 17-year-old girl to your house.
Nothing about this sounds creepy. Where you invite
Nothing.
people to come over to your house.
Did I look creeped out, or was I just like,
No, that
I don't remember you guys giving me creepy vibes. I was just like, "What's up?" Like, and I had no idea what we were doing. Like, honestly, in hindsight, now having like spent 10 years like in the film industry, like.
Now you know how unprofessional we were?
No. Okay, first off, no, I get it 1,000%. Like, I've like all of this stuff, like it sounds like a low budget, but the truth is you do get like the once in a while some creepy person, but for the most part, it's just like that's what filmmaking is. It takes a village and you're calling favors and things never go according to plan. So you're just like hoping that it doesn't look bad. And I have the luxury of being female, so there's generally not creepiness associated with me. But it's really interesting to look back in like hindsight, because I don't necessarily remember every part of what we did, besides that it was, because at that point, like becoming an actor or filmmaker was such a foreign concept. I'm just surprised that I knew what to do, like at all.
Yeah. Hey, you're not the only one.
No. Most of your stories just sound like indie films. Like that's how it goes.
Yeah. Like somewhere deep down inside, like whenever we started filming, and it started to kind of come together, that it was just like, oh hell, it looks like we're making a movie. That's whenever I started to get nervous. Because it's like, me and my friends, we had shot some stuff, like in school, or like on weekends and everything.
Oh,
and
that's where your story should have began.
Yeah.
The ghost.
The ghost.
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf. Yeah. These are guys that don't know. These are all movies that we made whenever we were in high school and stuff.
The Square Root of Seven, The House. There was one where I had to sit on a toilet, and you guys wanted me to do it naked, but I insisted on wearing underwear. I think it was The Burglar, and that tape was missing. I never got to. I have most of them still here in a box somewhere.
Well, I was channeling like a Scorsese or something. I wanted some something real. I was trying to draw real emotion out of you. By having you sitting on
utter fear.
Hey, Paul, do you still have the commercials from AP?
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna be like, at least that's the only time being female in this industry now. It's like, I have like an audition tomorrow where it's like halfway through the scene, like it's a girl who just can't stop talking, and eventually the guy's like, whatever, she's hot enough, I'll have sex with her. But like, continually talking while he's just basically railing her from behind. And I'm like, I feel like guys never have to do this shit. Like they just get to show up and they get to be funny, and once in a while, like it's still funny, but you're not like, and this scene, I guess, in it is kind of funny, but I was like, but you never have to deal with the auditioning. Like it's at least a quarter of the auditions. Like you're like, all right, there's going to be a sex scene at some point that you're going to have to do all this stuff for. And guys I feel like they just get to look cool the whole time.
Well, yeah. And it's like, I mean, that's where we had the issue a while back, where like, it was nice to see guys get served, like with the Me Too movement and stuff, like, and being a small town filmmaker, but being a huge fan of film in general, it's nice to see those kind of guys get their comeuppance, and it's like, here we are, we're trying to have fun, we're trying to make movies, but in larger places like that, like it's not a joke, like whenever you would come over and like you were always super, super cool. I'm like, hey, can you try this costume on in my bedroom? Just close the door. And you're like, oh, okay, but it's like, that's how it was with us, I mean, like we had, we would like go out to shoot and we would have people changing behind cars and stuff, just, that's just kind of how it was,
Yeah, well, it's good that there's obviously like a level of trust to some degree, because I will say that there are certain sets, and you definitely hear in interviews with actors of like similar things of like being on like the ferry to like they were shooting something in Manhattan, and they're like, and you're just in the bathroom changing, but it speaks well of who you are and the precedent that you set on set.
Yeah,
I
think so too. I mean, I think that we were all just like really focused on not only trying to get the movie made, but also trying to get the hell out of wherever we were at, because some of those locations, we were like out in the middle of nowhere for hours, man. What was the Brandon, what was the longest that we shot, Brandon or BJ?
I want to say it was when we were out on Charcoal Road, and it was like midnight to almost 4:00 in the morning.
No way.
And all the batteries started dying to the cars.
Yeah.
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 It was either that night, or there was one night, Paul, where we filmed it was me, you, and maybe your girlfriend at the time, up above Drew's furniture shop. We were there from I would feel like it was 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yeah, there was a few 6-7 hour days, and yeah, like I think we had a couple of 8 or 9 hour days.
I feel that was the roughest night. I was also going through a breakup at the time. You kept getting mad at me for texting on my phone.
I didn't know you guys were breaking up. You like every time.
Like he's always on his phone. He's always on his phone. I was like,
every time I'd say cut, you would like turn around and pull out your phone, and I'm like, well, hold on,
we're trying to be as professional as possible.
Well, hey man, I didn't know.
Also, I mean, shit, an 8 hour day. Half the time they're like, we're going into overtime. Hope you guys are cool. Like 16 hours. All right, like that's nothing, y'all. Like that's so cool that you wrapped it in that amount of time. Slightly impressive.
Yeah,
probably why the movie took 3 hours to make. I mean, 3 years to make.
Probably. Kelly, so how did you end up in LA? That's what I want to know.
Okay, so well, after Scum, okay, that was still kind of, I went on to college and I played volleyball, and it was in Oregon, and I've been in South Texas my whole life, so I was like, oh my God, did you know it could rain like every day? And my mom was like, yeah, it's called other parts of the country. And I was like, okay, but this is like really depressing. And I was kind of like, I was like, I just don't want to stay here and do like student teaching. But so I was going to transfer to a place in Texas, but I kind of missed the cutoff dates. And I was looking for a job, and my aunt was like, why don't you try some just like print modeling, commercial stuff? So I went in to meet with the agency that my cousin has done some modeling for. And they were like, well, they pulled out what looked like a necklace. And I was like, yeah, girl, I'm half Latin. My hips are never going to fit in that. And she was like, well, she was like, we do have an acting department. And so I started taking some classes, and then I just worked 2 jobs for 6 months. But I mean, really it was kind of on a dime, because I remember quitting volleyball and being like, man, this is like the worst breakup of my life. Like, I don't know what that says about me, but I really like was like, no, I think I'm going to do that. And so I worked 2 jobs for 6 months and moved out here and just kind of figured it out. It's a whole, I wish I had known more about this and had an interest, or had anybody who I knew that like had an understanding of what the film industry was like. But I kind of, it took a few years. You have to figure it out. And then I started just doing film classes actually on the side to understand more of what it is to be like a director and a producer. And I mean, all those things matter, whether it's music, like each one of them is like such an intricate part in telling the whole story. And it's really like when it all comes together, it's so hard to do. But when it does, like those are the movies that you remember forever, and you remember, moments of it. And so my story kind of just feels random, but in hindsight, I guess like it all made sense.
Yeah. Like
With
I
those
remember.
credentials, we'll hire her to direct Scum too.
Hey man, I'm a real hard ass when it comes to producing. People like I drive people. Like there's no we get our shots and we work well and we like our but we do 12-hour days. So I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Look at her taking charge. I like it. Yeah, I read your interview in that LA magazine. I found it online.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. I was like, well. Look at Miss Kelly over here.
No, it's really cool. It was a really fun time. I had just wrapped shooting. I wrote a screenplay on women who served in the Pacific in World War II. And so I'm in the middle of I've gotten that through COVID into a couple of finalist positions and working on the funding for it. But it's it's just it's a hard business. It's one of the most competitive industries, at least that I've ever seen within the world. And you have to keep showing up and you really have to find your people. Because it's not even just about because you don't really want to sell it to studios because when they get involved, it's very.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm watching Scum right now, and it's supposed to be your hand on my shoulder, but it's not.
It's somebody else's hand.
Yes.
It's it's my ex, right?
Yeah, and I think I don't think that was BJ's hand either. I think that was your hand on my shoulder too.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Kelly. I apologize.
No, it's all good.
What's the name of this movie that you're doing? Is it a short or a feature?
Well, no, I did shoot a proof of concept to it, but I through COVID kind of leaned more into the dramatic side of it because I added a lot of levity. But I realized that that is more. I thought if I shot for something really bold in my voice, I would say is very unique, and particularly for the genre of a war epic. But that's the thing, though. When people think of war epic, they think of a specific type of film, and so they're like, "What? Why would there be so much comedy?" It's I'm well, it's not MASH, but it's there's moments I'm not everybody wants to sit there and be like, "It was really terrible." And I discovered the story of these women because I was really just looking to shoot some stuff, and I was on hold for this indie film that was shooting, and it was probably the worst line of dialogue I've ever had to say. And I come from a family of smartasses. So it's man, if this is my break-in, they're never going to let me live this down. And I was if films like this could get money, what could I do? So I started writing, and that's kind of how I went down the
What was the line?
I think I talked about it in the interview. It was the character's name was Slutty Nanny. And the guy showing me an x-ray, and I was this looks like a bunch of squiggly noodles having sex. And then I had to take my top off, and I was what?
Yeah.
What is this film? And they had so much money for it. I probably shouldn't be. I never have seen anything that got made from it. So hopefully I'm not shooting myself in the foot here, but you never know. People go on to make other projects that actually get a lot of I guess the coverage, if you will, but it was, you be careful. I never want to badmouth anybody, because I also will say making a movie is very hard to do. And 2 years, I've known people have been making one for 5. So you finished it, you wrote it, you shot it. That is something to absolutely be proud of.
But is it really finished? It's the Mallrats of Beeville movies. It's
it's
an
the
incomplete
only
movie
Beeville
shoved out there.
I don't know that there's any other Beeville movie.
There are.
Yeah, because as of right now, me, Becca, and Kelly, we're still standing on the roof, waiting to get down.
That's right, man. That's where we left you guys.
Scum 2.
Yep.
Me and Drew drive up.
I remember
13, 14, 15 years later, and we make it to the roof. You guys have survived on something, That way we can explain why we all look older, bigger.
Wait, do we run off on the roof? Is that how it happened? I just remember.
Not.
I just remember the premiere that my sister was also cast in it.
Yeah.
My sister Caroline. Anyway, she's the girl who steals my man. And I just love at the cut. I like throw something at her. I'm like, you know what? You take him. And my oldest sister leans over and she goes, even on film, you couldn't let her have one, Kel. It's like,
That was yeah. I remember we had to do, I guess, like some pickups or something with your sister. So I'm texting her and then I call her and she's there at the bar and she's like, oh, okay, I'll stop by for a second. So then she came over for like 15 minutes just to like get a shot of her doing something down the hallway. And she was a little bit tipsy. And it's like so,
not the only time someone would be tipsy on set.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Anyways,
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about never mind.
Wait, is everybody not drinking right now?
What? I'm not.
Guys, this is a film industry. I think we can all like.
Speaking
I
of,
just remember. Well, I was talking about the night where we had to feed John Dog Smith his lines.
So yeah, that's what I was going to talk about next. John Dog
What a great
Smith.
segue.
Yes, John Dog Smith. How are you doing,
The
sir?
special effects shot.
I don't care what you say.
I'm
Those lines
watching
came
the
out
movie.
magnificent.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't even care.
So we were.
Dude, no,
I
it
got
worked.
there on time. But he had to get all the kids in first. So I didn't be on camera until like freaking 8 hours later, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
So
We were on that damn back road. It was cold as shit. We were like taking turns warming up in the cars and shit. And yeah, I mean,
But that's not even the night that we got your great lines. That happened in the backyard of his house.
Yeah. So this is my buddy
Months
Marcus
later.
Serrano, who was the second guy cast as John Dog Smith, and yeah, like I don't even know how the hell we cast you. Like,
yeah, I didn't get an audition.
no,
He was there.
You
You
didn't.
were offered
was
the
standing
part.
there.
That means you're even bigger. You didn't have to audition. They were like, he's got it.
Well,
Yeah,
me and Paul have done like several things. Oh, I was asking you earlier if you still have those commercials when you worked at AP.
I found him
Commercials we did for the
for
there was-
the comic book conventions. Yeah.
yeah.
I have them. Maybe I'll pull them off the discs and put them up on YouTube since they haven't been.
Hell
seen.
yeah, I'd like to see that.
Brandon was also in one of them too. So his, I don't know if you want me to put it out or not, since it involves your ex or whatever. But I'll talk about it later. So Marcus, you were just I think we just kind of asked you. And it's like, where the hell did the mustache come from? I remember you getting mad at me because your wife wanted you to shave the mustache, but you had to keep it for like 2 years.
I have no idea.
But it's like
I still want him to shave it. He still does it.
I hear it back there. But
Yeah, whatever.
But it's like, I remember even like, I think in the first script, was there even a John Dog Smith? Because I know there wasn't a Wesson. That kind of came out as the joke that he that I wrote in the movie, where it's like, somebody asked John Dog Smith, where's Wesson? Like Smith and Wesson. And then eventually
that's BJ's line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh? Where's Wesson?
Yeah, where's Wesson?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, John Dog Smith's role or part evolved from the sheriff. I think the sheriff had a bigger role, which would have been awesome too. I think because the sheriff was involved with more of the action at the end of the original script, if I'm correct. There was also a baby in the original script, which, yeah.
Josh, right? Josh and my ex, they're the ones that had a baby, so there's supposed to be a baby involved. Like the stakes were going to be
Mark. And what
so
was his wife's name? Mark and weird.
Casey?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I should have watched it before we did this instead of while we're doing this.
But okay, so back to John Dog Smith. So it was he shows up like being the editor of the movie and also the director helped so much because we would film things so far apart. Like I remember Kelly you were already gonna go off to college, so we had to shoot all of your stuff in like a week, and it was all like at night, and like any like day stuff. We were trying to schedule all this stuff, and I felt so bad because here you are trying to like say goodbye to your family, trying to hang out with your friends, and then you're in this guy's movie, and he's and then you have to run out and go shoot, and you're like, hey, I have dinner with my parents. How long is it going to take? It's like, it's only going to take like 2 hours or an hour, and it's like 4. And it's like, I felt so bad, but a lot of people don't realize it takes a long time to make a movie. Like you can go shoot one scene and it might take 8 hours.
You're so nice.
Like an hour of footage is like 5 minutes in film.
Not even, dude.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
So you're way nicer than I am to my actors. I'm like, you show up on time and you do this, and we're gonna be here until we get this shot, okay?
Yeah.
And I have like hundreds in my back pockets to pay off people to be like, don't call the cops, just just a shot. Hey, we're on the run here, and usually they're all doing it for not great money. So you're so much nicer. I feel like you're being hard on yourself. Even like that's my friends who really like gone on to do, like shows on HBO. Once again, I should probably watch what I'm saying here, but like there's like, yeah, it's kind of a joke. They'll like drop you off and be like, back in 3 hours, pick you up, shooting all next day. Like it's I think you're very much being hard on yourself. I think it's just how it goes.
Yeah, and it's like, I guess that's why I did make another movie. We'll talk about that later. But it's not bad. I just realized how bad it sounded. But I did make another feature-length movie that will probably never come out. But we'll talk about that later. I'm still trying to get something out of John Dog Smith. So I remember like you were drinking a lot. I think most of us were, and then
no.
Wait, which day was it?
You weren't.
Which
I
shot?
Brandon,
know.
Brandon,
only
Brandon
professional.
wasn't, but we all were, I think. The scene where we set up in my backyard, and like I set the camera so that you couldn't see the fence line, and there was trees, and it's like that's what I was talking about. It's like the movie took so long to make, and me being the director and the editor, like I would just go shoot these things, and knowing in my head where they were going to fit, how they needed to fit. So like I figured, if we're going to be out there in the middle of nowhere, we're going to get you to say your lines. We needed some trees in the background, and I could probably make it work because I knew where the lights were facing. So I was like, well, we'll just put a light right here, and I think it'll work. Do you remember the line?
Some of them, but I never even had lines to go through. Like you would just be like, here, this is what I need you to say. I'm gonna remember all of that.
That's it. That's how it went that night.
Yeah,
that's exactly how it went. Okay, these are your lines right here. I'm like, okay, what do I say next?
No, I'm pretty sure we left the camera running, and we told him the line, and then he said it, and you just cut it out.
Exactly.
Yeah. You were a little
Just
inebriated.
like that. Yeah.
Wait, they were telling you your lines?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
That's like the end of Brando's career. So maybe that's just where you were at. You were like,
There you go. Yeah.
all the emotions right here. Just tell me what to say.
But it's like, like John Dog Smith, he ends up being everybody's favorite character in the movie, Do you remember where the shot where you're like supposed to be shooting the zombies downtown that was filmed? Shoot, I don't even know, like a year and a half later.
we're upstairs. That's when I'm shooting them from the theater, I think. Yeah, it's a theater scene.
Yeah, and we shot that almost 2 years later after we shot the downtown scene with everybody running around, and
Was that our victory walk?
What's that?
Was that the victory walk we had to do, like down the middle of like Main Street? We were dodging cars.
And you know
And
what?
had the cops called on us?
Really? I don't remember the cops coming.
Oh, they showed up.
Oh yeah, I remember the cops showing up.
Well, it's like we would like call the police to tell them we're going to be downtown filming, and then they would show up
Went in that
anyways
night.
just to come watch. I'm like, come on, man. You know, you're in the shot.
That's Beeville.
Yeah. But it's like I remember we shot that scene and we showed up and we realized that they didn't have any power up there. So we lit the entire scene with a shake flashlight. So like I'm sitting there shaking this flashlight, you know, because it's one of those kinetic energy flashlights. So I'm shaking this flashlight that's already dying, and like I'm putting it in places, having Marcus walk through,
wow.
and it's like, okay, then and then I would walk in front of him and be like, okay, we have a little sliver of light here, walk through here. Okay, we have light here, walk through here. And then eventually like we ended up getting that scene somehow. But like I remember just shaking that damn stupid flashlight, you know, forever.
Just like a shake weight. You're just like,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was just, yeah, but I mean, a lot of that happened throughout the movie, you know, like we'd show up and things weren't the way they were supposed to be. But with all, you know, like working with all you guys, y'all just helped and y'all made it possible, you know, to like get through scenes and to basically make it work, you know. It's like it's like this movie would not exist without all of you guys like helping out, you know, and like getting really annoyed with me or having to run up your credit card bills, you know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.